Dear Vladimir Vladimirovich, distinguished members of delegations, at an event in Moscow in early May, we agreed to meet and discuss in detail everything we are interested in with the participation of members of the government. The question is what we just did in a narrow sense. We exchanged views on the most sensitive topics on the bilateral agenda on which the economic situation and stable development of our two countries depend. We also touched on the international situation and discussed options to deal with risks and threats around our borders. In any case, Minsk and Moscow maintain the process of strengthening integration. We support each other, we will not support each other in all directions, and our projects have gone beyond the surface of the earth. Back on Earth, he outlined a number of other priorities that require close attention. We plan to continue to carry out specific work in the industry in this field to implement joint import of doses. Decisive projects in microelectronics, mechanical engineering, machine tool manufacturing, military technical cooperation, in other words, the direction of ensuring the realization of the goals of technological sovereignty and economic security of our countries. All decisions are made by Vladimirovich himself, and the government must implement them within a short period of time. First of all, it is necessary to quickly complete the formation of a unified industrial policy. Both sides of the Union countries benefit from this. Many of our conveyors work on each other's components. At the legislative level, our partners should not take any protective measures, because as we agreed, we need to clean up those who impose sanctions on us. And those who do not contribute to the economic development of the two states. The energy industry depends on it, and the cost of final products must finally agree on the conditions for supplying oil and gas to the Republic of Belarus. We haven't been discussing this for the first few years. Today, Vladimir Vladimirovich made the decision accordingly. I think the government will finalize these agreements in this direction in the next few days. We have analyzed all the nuances in detail. Belarus is also ready to continue to cooperate with Russian companies in the field of nuclear energy. The experience of building nuclear power plants in Belarus has opened up new opportunities for further mastering these technologies, for training skilled personnel, and even for the joint construction of such facilities in 3 countries. For this reason, Alexei, we are very grateful to you for raising our experts to the level of Russian knowledge, and we are happy to do so. We'll work. Transportation and logistics have done a lot of work according to the needs of enterprises. More serious investment in railway infrastructure development is needed every day. Renewal of rolling stock, increase of carrying capacity, financial support for our air transport. The necessary measures to increase the load of Belarusian Russian airports will be carried out through the joint project of accessible communication between our regions. Although a lot has been done recently, public procurement interested in working closer with Russian state-owned enterprises. A few weeks ago, I raised this issue in the context of public procurement at a meeting of the armed forces in Moscow. I think you will agree with my argument that in the space of the Union countries, we should not limit ourselves and close ourselves to each other in our common market. Moreover, the situation shows that in this world, in terms of long-term cooperation, we can only rely on ourselves. We hope that Belarusian enterprises and organizations will actively participate in investment projects being implemented in Russia. There's a lot on this in the narrow lineup. We discussed this issue. Vladimirovich talked a lot about how to work together to build our enterprises in a common chain. These areas are only recent. We have properly assessed the potential of these regions, which is the cooperation between our regions and ensures a substantial increase in mutual trade. 27 June 28, Vitebsk, June Polotsk, and Novopolotsk will hold planned activities within the framework of the next regional forum. It is also a great pleasure to invite you, Vladimir Vladimirovich, your colleagues, to this forum, which I think is closer. We will agree on this event depending on our work schedule. I wish the new composition of the Russian government success and believe that the priority consideration of Belarusian Russian cooperation will continue. I propose that, if necessary, an expanded approach be adopted to these and other issues in order to take the necessary decisions at the level of heads of state. Thank you, Vladimir Vladimirovich.
Dear Alexander Grigorievich, on behalf of the Russian delegation, I would like to thank Estes again for inviting me. Our meetings, we meet regularly, but after the presidential election of the Russian Federation, the Russian government certainly needs to gather in such a broad composition to outline the next milestone in our mutual development. You mentioned investment activities. I think this is one of our most important areas, and of course we should focus on the priority areas of our cooperation. Of course, the first of these priority areas is high technology and everything related to it, and of course the future. Behind this, we have accumulated good potential in this field. We're just talking about a narrow lineup right now, and the most important thing for all of us is to find this. Priority areas in these high-tech fields and help each other develop these capabilities, especially since C. With regard to the so-called sanctions, more sanctions have been imposed on Russia than on anyone else in the world, 16,000 different. They create certain problems. Of course, we see and feel it, but they create certain opportunities for us to develop. Where we have lost our previous capabilities, we quickly restore them, and where we don't have them, we need them, we create them, and of course we create them. It is possible to combine our efforts together in the most effective way, and one of the most important tasks is to find these areas of cooperation, to create the synergies that we all need. Energy is indeed one of the most important areas. We've talked about it in detail now. There are certain agreements in the narrow lineup. I have no doubt that they will all be fulfilled. Colleagues have certain instructions to complete the problems that have not yet been completed. These are actually details. There is nothing substantial there. The rhythmic operation of related enterprises in the field of TICA will definitely be guaranteed. I agree with Alexandrovich that logistics and transportation are an unconditional priority today, and we need to rebuild and create new supply chains and help each other to keep our businesses running smoothly, including market-oriented. And there are 3 countries in the market that want to cooperate with us. There are quite a few such states. Alexandrovich didn't mention it, but we touched it casually. Another area of interaction is agriculture, which is the most important area in Belarus. It has performed very well here, mainly in terms of product quality. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that my Russian colleague will confirm this. Russian agricultural products have received due attention. In the Russian market, we have opened a large number of trading enterprises, and the signs directly say that these goods from Belarus are in great demand. Considering quality, of course, interregional cooperation is still a very important area of our interaction. The heads of our representative authorities attach particular importance to this. Alexander Igorevich and I have always supported this interaction and will continue to do so, as a large amount of trade is concentrated at the regional level. At the regional level, it is very important when there is no need to push anyone from the center, when people are just working together, because it's profitable. Thank you very much for inviting me. Alexander Grigorievich, of course, let's use these. We will support this direction of our interaction. There is another direction that is extremely important under the current conditions. This is to ensure national defense security, but these are always issues that the President of Belarus and I have been looking at. We always work with our colleagues on both sides, especially recently. Then the direction of K. The Western community has chosen Belarus and Russia as enemies, of course. Jealousy attempts to contain our development and undermine our sovereignty have so far failed in this regard, and I am sure nothing will succeed. Here, we feel absolutely confident and reliable, and we will strengthen our interaction. Among these most important areas of activity, there is another important area, that is, the construction of the Union State. The government-level college has done a lot of work lately. In order to create conditions for our further cooperation in the economic field and in the field. Politicians are here. Good tools have been created to further develop these plans. We will soon celebrate the anniversary of the founding of the Union State, which will also strengthen our interaction, which will certainly benefit the development of our countries and the people, and will strengthen this first. Our common task is to strengthen the well-being of citizens of Belarus and the Russian Federation. I thank you for your attention. I am prepared to give my colleagues the floor if necessary.